that's what they want to do. Obviously, they don't want people to get healthy. It's not about that. If it were about that, there would be vaccines. And there wouldn't be war. It's about genocide. Making money from genocide. You know, does anybody know who Prescott Bush is?
Yes.
Grandfather to our present, fascist in office. You know, Prescott Bush financed Hitler.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
As soon as the Attorney General found out about that in the United States and seized all the assets of that bank that Prescott Bush ran, Hitler started falling quickly. And you have to take a look at it. Who the hell was this Hitler? He was a house painter. He was a vegetarian, fanatic house painter. They just used him as a puppet. He was just a puppet. A fanatical puppet. Who put 2 tablespoons of sugar in each glass of wine. Who would take a whole bowl of sugar and put it on top of cake. His mind was he was a crazy man.
He had injections of stimulants every morning to get out of bed.
Because he couldn't function.
They just had a big documentary on him that was about his doctor, actually.
Yeah.
It was on, like, Discovery.
But his doctor was part of Prescott Bush.
Right. It was scary.
All of that, and they did the same thing. They're one that designed burning the rice
Krispies?
Pardon?
That's Krispies?
The government building. Reichtag, right? Reichtag.
Oh, Reichtag.
Reichtag.
Oh, yeah, Reichtag.
Reichtag.
Yeah.
Reichtag. So they burned it to claim, we need to take constitutional rights of the people away for security. So what do we have? The towers. We had the Twin Towers. And where's our architect? He's gone. I studied architecture. Rocket fuel burns at 1,688 degrees. The size of those beams and the Constitution took a minimum of 3,200 degrees to cause them to bend. That's bend, never disintegrate. If you notice, they just kept explosives all the way down. That was just a regular demolition. Who could have done that? So, anyway, reading politics. Get back into, health stuff.
Do you think his anger was also a vegetarian?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, he believed he was, he was going to turn the world into vegetarian.
I think that's why
Hitler,
there's so much anger in the Middle East.
Why?
So many of them are vegetarian.
Yeah.
Really?
They eat grain and that's it, and vegetables, because a lot of them are poor.
All of those
also.
carbohydrates
Very
don't
little.
cause the brain to function properly. Because according to Columbia University, the advanced glycation end products and the acrylamides from carbohydrates make the blood and the neurological system very sticky. So the cells start sticking. The neurons, the axons, the ganglia get congested with this sugar and everything misfires. So you don't think properly, you're not clear. So you vegetarians are heavily into that. And the less protein you have, the more those advanced glycation end products and acrylamides collect in those systems. So you're going to have a lot of ADD and a lot of problems.
Did you experience that when you were a vegetarian?
Oh yes, I was a fanatic.
I would,
yeah.
I wouldn't even lick a stamp because it didn't
Yeah.
have gelatin on it.
Yeah, yeah. And all, but I was brutal. You're a murderer. You eat meat, you're a murderer. I was that way.
So
They mean like violent.
They were much more grounded.
Yeah, I was grounded. When I first went to San Diego, right after my book was published in 1997, went to the health convention, and I spoke, and I had a table there with the publisher. And this group of vegetarians, raw food vegetarians, came up to the table to talk to me. And I'm sitting there talking very calmly, and they're, furious and furious. And they went on for about 45 minutes, and I was just very calm, let them do their thing. And I would respond once in a while with one sentence that would answer their question, and they weren't listening. So I had a mirror, a little mirror like this, and I held it up and I say, do you think that you're calm? Do you think that this no-meat diet is good and makes you non-angry and non-violent? Take a look. Every one of them was foaming at the mouth. They had this white foam coming out of their mouth. And you could see, and I held it up to each one of them. And I said, look at me and look at you. You tell me who's angry and who's violent. And they walked away. They got it and they walked away. And they never bothered me again.
I went to the Living Lighthouse and had that same experience.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Okay. You have a question?
Talk about traveling. Food and travel. What do you take? What do you shop for?
I take butter, honey, and cheese. That's it. I can get eggs and meat anywhere.
Butter,
Well,
Cheese, yeah.
and cheese.
Butter.
But now I know when I'm in Asia, and I know where to get honey now, so I don't worry about the honey. So I would take cheese and butter.
You refrigerated?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I keep it in a cooler. Like when I go to Asia, I'll take a half a pound a day of butter.
but what about the X-ray?
I take it to the, when I'm going to China Airlines or Japan Airlines, whoever it is, I take it to their officers, their officials of that airline, and say, this is the circumstance, I had cancer of the blood and bone, I had a lot of x-rays, I had radiation therapy. If my food goes through, I'm going to get nauseous if I eat this. So what they do is they have it hand checked by TSA, and then they hand it to a baggage carrier who walks it to the plane, gives it to them, and they give it to me as I board the plane.
Wow.
You don't need a special dog suppressor for
Not, well, it always helps.
Yeah.
But, if you're calm and, collected enough, you can talk to me.
What do you do with the cheese that you take with
I eat it.
you? Yes, but do you eat it like before your meals and after your meals?
No, I eat it as a mineral supplement, depending upon what I feel I need. One time I was without butter for about a week, and the only way I could be satisfied was to eat a coconut, whole coconut with all the meat, the mature coconut, had all the meat. So I'd eat one of those every 1 to 2 days, and that would satisfy that intense hunger from not having dairy and the cream and the butter, which are so relaxing and calm. But eating a whole coconut.
You mean you can't get cheese over there, or do you just take it?
Not raw and unsalted.
Milk you can get.
Well, I get goat's milk,
Yeah.
but that's it. From some of the Muslim, people. Because they do breed goats and they do have goat's milk. And you have to go to the outdoor markets to get it. They got people on the street that sell these wild hives. They're still on the sticks, from the trees.
Wow.
And they just put it in a bag for you, So, it's got all the pollen, the royal jelly, and everything. So it's a wild hive has
Where's
all
that?
that in it.
That's Thailand.
In Thailand, in Vietnam, in Bali, Malaysia, Indonesia, in Cambodia. I found it everywhere. And right in Bangkok, I go into, where these peasants were on the street.
Why do you travel this way?
Because it's much more primitive. People are a little bit more connected with Earth. And, the younger generation, 25 years and younger, they're already being indoctrinated by the TV. You got a stomach ache, right to the pharmacy. And you don't need a prescription for anything. Anything. You can buy anything there. Anything you can get in the drugstore without a prescription.
Paris was that way too.
What?
Paris was that way too.
I heard Thailand is really bad about pesticides.
Somebody at the door?
Thailand?
Yeah.
Well, in certain areas, yeah, because Monsanto and Dow are giving them chemicals. What they're doing is trying to wipe out the little farmer. Because it destroys the field, they stop getting a crop, then they go out of business. And that's the same thing they did here, in the United States. So then agribusiness comes in and they take over. That's what it's all about. It's their own warfare to take over, to be the authority.
So
They have
there are
all the
wealthy
land.
Thai people that are doing this to the smaller farmers with the Americans, or?
No. The Americans are allowed in there to do it.
And then the Americans are going to own the property and
No, well, they
Give
do.
cash?
What they do is they just
They're
have
puppets.
partners. They have partner
Thai
puppets.
partners.
Yeah, but they're puppet partners.
But they get paid on the counter bill.
What's the name of the DVD about that? Did you see that?
The what?
The DVD that Jerry Garcia's wife produced about Monsanto and the organic farmers?
I don't
Yeah, Whole
remember
Foods was
seeing that.
selling it. I got him to sell it.
Future of Foods, is that the one?
What is it?
Future of Foods,
The Future of Food.
is that the one?
That's a ring a bell, but it might be. It's about Monsanto and the organic. Whole Foods has it.
Okay, do you have a question?
My question, you kind of answered a little, was about, sometimes I get on a little soapbox, and my friends they don't really.
They don't come.
I have a friend who just immunized her child, and she asked me, I didn't decide to talk about it, and I told her the truth of what I knew, and then we got to talking about what I didn't know was how, since they're giving the flu shot for free and this shot for free, I didn't understand how the money was being made, and you kind of touched on it earlier. So the
Our government gives it to the pharmaceutical houses.
and then we pay it through our taxes?
Our taxes pay for it,
Okay,
yeah.
and then, I get it. Because my one friend's argument was, well, but the flu shot's free, so what do you mean? They're not making any money. And I said, no, there has to be a way they're making money,
That's
believe
right,
me.
yeah.
So it's all our
And you have
tax
to
money.
understand that corporations pay less and less tax every year that a Republican is in office. Every year it gets less and less. And they give a lot of rebates, literally rebates, to companies for employing a lot of people. So some of these companies are getting money and not paying a dime of tax. They're actually being paid by our government. So this is all in the system. This is work done. If you've got connections, in Congress, then you're in. Especially if you got them in the White House. And our little guy in the White House is just robbing the till.
And when it comes to immunizing your child and taking to the doctor, we pay for that, right? The parents pay for those
Yeah,
shots,
they're
right?
supposed to pay for it.
The